second part of the video, making biodiesel from rubbish, basically. We've separated the biodiesel from the glycerine. That's useful for making excellent degreasing soap. We'll just leave that to one side. Okay, you're still going to have residue of the methanol in there and the sodium hydroxide, so what we need to do now is basically filter it and then wash it. People give you all sorts of nonsense about, 50,000 microns, 5,000 microns, being Womble-like, using the things that I can find. These coffee filters are perfectly sufficient. You're going to take your 2 litre Coke bottle and you're going to form 2 units. One of them, you need the top cut off it, and one of them, the collection unit, you need the bottom cut off it. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the filter paper, fold the bottom like that, and obviously, Dad, you'll know from your electrical knowledge, this is filters in series, a bit like a circuit, basically. The units that you're cutting off, because Coke bottles are so well engineered, they just tuck in nicely like that. You then back it up with the second one. There are people who will tell you could just sling chip fat into a diesel engine and it will run. And yeah, chip fat, peanut oil, it's technically true, but it will gum up your lines and things like that. If you want to make high quality fuel out of rubbish, the more you filter it, the better it will be. And these coffee filter papers cost about 1 pence each, 1.5 pence. That's a small price to pay for the actual benefit of what it does, and it's still very, very cheap and Womble-like. There you go, so I've got my 2 filters in series there. Put that into my collection unit, and I take my biodiesel and I pour it into this filter system. Any pieces of soap or anything like that will become filtered out. Water will also be attracted to the paper, but you're still really meant to wash it. Okay, it's a gravity-fed process, so that means, for those of you that don't know what gravity is, stored potential kinetic energy drags it through the filter, however many microns it is, and it then collects in the bottom. It also separates out solid particles, things like that. Then left with another Coke bottle. I'm just going to move this filter right out of the way. Okay. Now, water will evaporate from this if you leave it to stand. That's one that I've been filtering out earlier. It's always handy to have these collection units around. You need quite a few of them. You probably need 10 Coke bottles for this process. That line there, again because Coke bottles are so well engineered, that is 1 litre. So it's very, measuring by eye. And I don't know if you can see in the bottom there, you get soapy bits and things like that, the filter's taken out. Filters are obviously disposable, you can just throw them away later. Okay, so this biodiesel here, I'm going to put into this Coke bottle and we're going to wash it so it becomes like that. I'm just going to do this over the sink. Full details of this are on my website, which is all the W's, kentbiofuel.blogspot.com. There's photographs, description, recipe and everything, so that you can actually do this wherever you are. If you're on the streets of South London or the streets of South Africa, this is a very easy process for you to do. All you need is plastic bottles. If I teach 100 people to do this, hopefully I'm mitigating my whole entire family's karmic carbon debt by teaching the world how to run their vehicles on green, clean, sustainable fuel. There you go. Now, washing it, this is hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Okay? The methanol and the sodium hydroxide, they're like hydrophilic. They like hydrogen. Water is a polar solvent, and so basically it bonds to it. Whereas the oil is hydrophobic. It's like, no, I don't like them hydros, get them away from me. So it doesn't bond with it. You see, there's a clear separation line there. People say you need distilled water, and they'll teach you all sorts of fancy ways to recover methanol, but basically boiled water. You're going to have to wash the biodiesel several times to get all the stuff out of it, and you're going to need to filter it again. Just quickly demonstrate. You see at the bottom, there's a cloudy liquid much like this. The clarity of it, the clearer it is, the less contaminants there are in it. Obviously you can't have any water in your diesel, which is why you need to leave it to dry out. Any methyl oxide residue will clean out your lines. Now petrol diesel contains paraffin to stop it melting, stop it freezing, at very low temperatures. Now if you convert your car totally to biofuel, B100 blend, all this paraffin that's been gathering at the bottom of your tank for years will basically be cleaned out, and it'll end up in your oil filter. So if you are going to use this stuff, you'll have to change your oil filters after all that stuff's come out. Okay, you can see that's been agitated now, and it's starting to separate out at the bottom. The best thing to do is leave it upside down, and again, because of the remarkable engineering of the Coca-Cola bottle, you can squeeze it out. I've got to do this over the sink. Now this stuff at the bottom is basically drain cleaner, or you could use it to make soap. So by putting it down the drain, you're sort of cleaning the mess. You have to be very careful when you're squeezing it. Apply constant pressure so you don't get no air bubbles, or any air bubbles coming out. And don't get too enthusiastic with using it as drain cleaner, because you'll go too far and squirt biofuel down the drain, which is a bit of a waste. See how it's coming to the bottom now, and then there you go, it's changed colour. That's about there now. The clearer that water is at the bottom, the cleaner the diesel is. You need to repeat that process a few times, but you'll always get this layer here. So again, the more you filter it, the better your fuel will be. Another filtration system, exactly the same as the last one, 2 filters in series. Get little granules at the bottom, but you might as well just tip down like that. Okay, just going to move this to one side. This is the final stage of the process. What I've done is I've just left filtered biodiesel to stand, so that any moisture evaporates naturally. If you leave it in a breeze with a current, anything will evaporate. There's only a certain point that you can wash it to. It will get very, very clear. But you could go to stupid lengths of washing it 8-9 times, and you still have a layer on the top of it. So you might as well just leave it to stand. Everything will evaporate, and then you just filter it one last time into any sort of container you like. I've used a Volvic bottle here, and it will just slowly drip. And that, a Volkswagen Golf diesel engine will burn basically anything, and it will go very, very well on that. That's how cheap it is to run your car. Alright, Dad, hope you get better soon. Hope you enjoyed this. Anyone else, if they want instructions or anything, please check out my website, www.kentbiofuel.blogspot. Thank you. Good night.